Undirected Team. How's it going, team? I am DoorDash, the undirected guy. And y'all are the best audience on the internet. It's not even close. And I appreciate y'all. You know, we see a lot of crazy schemes happen, elaborate schemes, but a lot of times these schemes are actually in movies and stuff like that because they're so outlandish and so insane that it doesn't even make sense, right? It's like this can only be made in a movie. But what we need to learn is that anything that is created, no matter if it's actually happened, it can happen. So one of the sayings that people will say is like anything that can happen will happen. Now this guy right here, we're going to talk about him and what he did, but make sure you hang around to the end of this video. And I'm not saying this for any reason other than that the twist on this story is insane. Like, I don't even know like how it ends up like this, but the truth is that it's a very sad ending, and we gotta break this down. So we're gonna go through a couple different pieces of this, and we'll start with this story right here, and we'll see exactly what happened with this kid right here. 22 years old he is. What we know about a Stamford man's alleged scheme to steal $1 million from DoorDash workers. And I'll talk a little bit about some of my gig experience, all right? Because I have done gig work before. Should we just play it? No, we're going to read it. Let me see how this sounds. We might listen. Let's see if the audio is like a robot. If it's a robot, we're not rocking with it.
What we know about a Stamford man's alleged scheme to steal $1 million from DoorDash workers. Written by Pat Tomlinson. This article is being read by an automated voice, generated by Everlet.
That doesn't sound that bad.
Update. David Smith was shot dead in New Rochelle on January 6, 2 days before he was due in court in a $1 million DoorDash scheme, officials said.
Well, that kind of gave everything up. I was going to announce that he actually got clipped, but they updated the story on this story to January 6th. So I guess that's all done. And since I do these live and I don't edit the videos, then there's really no going back. So the story, what I was going to give y'all at the end was that he ends up getting clipped, but that's not really the main part of the story. But I guess you can kind of just leave now if you want. But I don't think you should because we haven't even broke everything down. But I was trying to have y'all in suspense. It just doesn't work the way that you want it to ever. Because if you see right here, I'm just going to highlight this. This is where I'm reading the story, but what they did is they went back retroactively. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on real quick. Okay, they went back retroactively and updated it right here with him being taken out. So you know what we're going to do instead? We're going to go to this news story right here, and then we're going to actually just get an opportunity to see what happened with him from the news. And then
he was due in court.
We're going to talk a little bit about like DoorDash in itself, the background checks they do. We're going to talk about SNAP benefits being added to DoorDash, which I think is insane. And then we'll talk about some other stuff too. Obviously his whole scheme and how he did it.
In Stamford for a potential resolution in that case. News 12 Connecticut's Marissa Alter with the latest tonight.
David Smith was supposed to appear in Stamford Superior Court Wednesday morning to accept or reject a plea offer in his case. Instead, the state's attorney's office learned Smith was killed 2 days ago. New Rochelle police found David Smith shot several times in the chest Monday morning at the Heritage Homes complex. Police said a personal dispute led to the 22-year-old's death. They've since arrested 4 men in connection.
Community members did help with this, with calls to the police of the shots and descriptions of people running away.
Smith was living in Mount Vernon. He moved there after Stamford police arrested him in June 2023 in what one investigator called the most massive scheme he's seen. Smith is accused of scamming DoorDash drivers in California out of almost $1 million. Investigators recovered a large chunk of it, $733,000 in cash, when they seized 5 safes from his apartment. Police explained how the scam worked. They said Smith would use one of his many phones to place a fake DoorDash order in California. Then when the driver was on the way, Smith would impersonate DoorDash support and claim there was a problem with the order.
He would get them to click a link or go to a website, and then that essentially would turn over their credentials, their username and password, to him. Once he was in control of that, he would change the billing information and steal any funds that they had for deliveries they had done, basically steal their paycheck.
More than 700 drivers were scammed over the course of 2.5 years. Police said Smith also stole the identities of dozens of people to open debit card accounts where he transferred the stolen money. Smith was considering a plea deal in the case at the time of his death. His decision to take the offer or go to trial had been expected at Wednesday's court hearing. The details of the deal weren't made public. As for the over $700,000 in cash that was seized in this case, Stanford police still have that money. What happens to it and whether it will go to all the victims as restitution will be determined at a hearing in March. That's also when the charges against Smith will officially be dismissed. In Stanford, Marissa Alter, News 12.
So there you go, team. This is completely insane. His scheme is quite elaborate. So, but my thing is this, like, so I've done gig work, right? All of it at different points. I've done Instacart. I did Uber Eats specifically, not DoorDash, but they're the same thing. DoorDash is probably better than Uber Eats, though, honestly. And I got to say that the hiring process on these companies, well, that's a whole nother video. If y'all want to hear about the ins and outs of gig work, then I will tell you. And I don't mean like taking y'all on deliveries. I mean like breaking down the nefarious acts that are within the network of food deliveries. I will tell you this. I don't have my food delivered to me. Groceries, possibly. But actual like made food from restaurants, no. I don't use DoorDash. I don't use Uber Eats. I don't even use Instacart. I've used Target Circle for deliveries here and there, like where they're delivering actual like food. Like I'll get like milk and cereal. Well, you know, it's oat milk, right? I don't drink dairy milk. But I'll do that, but like having somebody go order like I want to get like Chipotle or something like that, I'm not having a DoorDash person go and pick my Chipotle up and bring it to me. I can explain that to you on another date, but this is not what this video is about. But sidebar. So let me know in the comments if you want to get that content. I will make it for y'all because I appreciate y'all, team. Y'all are the best. All right. But I want to look at some of this stuff. No, this ain't what I want to look at. I wanted to look at, was it the background check? Nah, we can actually skip this. We don't need to look at that. I want to look at this. DoorDash begins offering SNAP and EBT online payment options. And then we're going to go back to talking about Bro and how he scammed and defrauded people out of their money. But I just want to look at this because although it's not necessarily has to do with this story, I just think it's interesting that SNAP and EBT are they partnering up with DoorDash or, but allowing people on SNAP and EBT to use DoorDash seems counterproductive because of the fees that are associated with EBT and SNAP, or I mean DoorDash. So, because it's a waste of their money, right? Like, they don't need to be in a position of paying exorbitant delivery fees and different things like that. Maybe possibly people that are disabled, but like honestly, they can't afford it, right? So it's just a waste of their money and resources, and it's gonna fall on the taxpayers just like SNAP and EBT does. But let's just look at this real quick and see what's going on. One of the leading restaurant and grocery delivery apps has announced that it will begin to accept SNAP and EBT payments on its platforms as part of its ongoing work to broaden food access. So I am wondering this, team, and what do y'all think? are they saying that they're going to let SNAP and EBT pay them through SNAP and EBT? So like DoorDash will take food stamps for their delivery fees, or maybe they'll roll it in to their food costs, because they can actually do it like this. Let's say somebody's buying a bag of chips and they're using DoorDash to buy it. So instead of DoorDash charging them $8 to deliver it or however much it is, they can actually just say, well, this $5 bag of chips, we're going to charge you $12 for it. And that's how we're going to get our money. So it'll actually be the cost of the food being upselled or upcharged rather than them taking a delivery fee. That way they can use their SNAP money to get it delivered to them, so it doesn't seem like they're taking cash out of their pocket. But basically, if they went to the store themselves or used another means to receive their bag of chips, they can get 3 bags of chips for $5, $10, $13, $15, but instead they're getting 1 bag of chips that they're paying $15 for because of the delivery fees. So it's genius by DoorDash to do it, but foolish by the consumer, and also I don't even know why the government would allow this to happen. Let's continue to read. According to a press release from the company, it will begin accepting SNAP EBT payments on the platform alongside multiple grocery partners, Aldi, Albertsons, Safeway, Meijer, and 7-Eleven stores. Oh, God. Where is it saying?
Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand.
I don't want that one.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
What do you mean?
7-Eleven stores. See, one of the problems with people that don't have a lot of money, or almost anybody, is that they buy a lot of stuff from these convenience stores, 7-Elevens, corner stores, Quick Marts, the Quickie Mart, like in The Simpsons. Those stores, their prices are completely inflated, and oftentimes they sell old products that have been sitting on the shelf for years. And really, what a lot of times what they do is they just buy their products from the grocery store and then throw tax on it and put it on their shelves because it's easier for people within that certain neighborhood to get to them. So they'll buy a gallon of milk from Aldi, and then they'll put it on their shelf. They'll get the gallon of milk for Aldi for $1.99. They'll just throw it on their shelf for $4.39 or $4.99. And then people are going there and buy it. It is insane. But this has been happening since the beginning of time. Anytime that you want to buy anything, if you decide to go to a gas station to buy it, you're taking an L, or a convenience store. I can't even the only time I ever shop at convenience stores and gas stations is if I'm taking a road trip. And that's because I'm forced to. And even then, I'll more likely stop at, grocery store, like an actual, like, big store. Sometimes it's just not convenient, hence the name of convenience stores. But that's the only time. Now, if you really want to start saving, then you'll use stores like a Costco or a Sam's Club where you're buying in bulk and you're getting your products a lot cheaper, but you're going to have to get a lot more of them or pay more up front. Let's see. DoorDash is going to offer SNAP recipients a 2-month membership to the service, which offers 0 delivery fees on eligible orders that meet the minimum subtotals from thousands of restaurants and grocery stores worldwide. According to the press release, DoorDash has more than 100,000 non-restaurant stores, which means that over 90% of the app's customers have access to non-restaurant store ordering items. 2,200. Aldi, Safeway, Albertsons, Meijer, 7-Eleven. Through the power of local delivery and enabling SNAP, EBT payments can make a profound impact on reducing food insecurity. I don't like that word. And connecting, or phrase, words, food insecurity sounds weird. Connecting people to groceries and the non-essential items they need. I'm going to push back on the need part. I would go more with items that they want. There's not many things that you need from a convenience store. You don't go into 7-Eleven needing things. You go into 7-Eleven wanting things. I want that bag of flaming hot Cheetos that has Jason Tatum, the basketball player, on it, or LeBron James selling cheddar cheese ruffles and he's on the bag, or Snoop Dogg, or Dr. Dre, or Lil Yachty, or Post Malone. Like they be selling rapper chips at like these stores. You don't see that at nicer store. You're not gonna go to Whole Foods and see Ja Morant on a bag of Ruffles Lay's. No, it's not happening, bruh. You go to the corner store and see Ja Morant on a bottle of quarter water, juice. It's terrible for you. The vice president of the new verticals at DoorDash, this is especially true for the vulnerable populations, including seniors, people living in food deserts, and those facing disability or transportation barriers. Well, sure, that's true. I don't disagree with that. But my thing is this. That's not going to be the main people that use this service. I'm going to be honest. A lot of older people don't even know how to use DoorDash and all that, or they're just now catching on, and that's a small population of them. There's still old people that don't even use apps. They be probably ordering DoorDash on their actual desktop computer. You know, that I've seen like a lot of younger people using DoorDash, which I think is crazy. They be so I'm in schools a lot, right? I'm in schools a lot, and I see people ordering food all the time at schools, which seems weird to me. I don't know if I could. I mean, I've never even, like I said, I don't even use those apps, but I'm not going to pull up to do a game. I'm going to be at a school and I'm going to be like, you know what? During halftime, let me get some McDonald's delivered to me. Like, what? It's just weird. Okay, I might be the minority in this in this conversation. I'm fine with that. Customers can add Snap EBT card directly to the payment methods section of DoorDash app under program cards. Once their card is added, receive an email, receive their Dash Pass in a few clicks. How much is it going to cost afterwards? Oh, that's the end of it. How much is DoorDash's delivery fee? I don't even know. Like, can y'all let me know what that is? How much it costs to have DoorDash? So this was interesting to me, more than possibly even the case with the guy. But let's go back to him real quick and see what happened. Okay, so this is how he got caught. And we're talking about this guy in the far corner, like right straight down that way. We're talking about him. So he got caught in early January 2023 when Stamford police, this is Connecticut, by the way, in the state of Connecticut. Stamford is in Connecticut. Police responded to a Prospect Street. Okay, responded to a Prospect Street apartment around 1:20 p.m. Reports of a domestic violence involving a pregnant woman. Police wrote in the affidavit that Smith was found to be the aggressor in the domestic incident. See, and this story gets deeper because we're wondering, there's 4 suspects that are charged. So Smith more than likely had accomplices in his theft ring that eclipsed over $1 million. Or how much was it? Yeah, over $1 million. My thing is this. I can't believe that he still had look at this. He still had $700,000 that he just had it. It was he didn't spend it. I mean, this guy is a mastermind, but maybe not even a mastermind, but he's very, very conservative with his crimes. Most people that have this much money are going to be driving around in a Urus. Like, they're going to be tight. Maybe they can't afford like the newest Maybach, but he going to have like a 2019. But he's holding on to the money. and has it neatly put up in safes in his apartment. I'm wondering why he got clipped, and I wonder if they've caught the suspects yet. So I'll probably do a follow-up video to this if I get that information, and we'll see what happened as far as why he got deleted. I don't know if this has something to do with this scheme or, I mean, because if we look at this, he was arrested for domestic assault on a pregnant woman. Right here, he was found to be the aggressor. Could be her family that they actually retaliated. While Smith faced several felony charges in connection with the domestic assault, including a charge of strangulation. It is what police found during their investigation that spurred a much larger case against him. I'm going to tell y'all, team, the downfall of every great man, whether illegal or legal, by the way he gets his money, a woman's going to be involved. Matter of fact, if you ask about 90% of the people in prison, well, 90% of the men that are in prison, why they're there, I'd actually go higher. I go closer to 95%. They're going to say a woman was involved. Either they got into it with a woman in domestic assault like this, or they were trying to impress a woman. But love, it always turns to vitriol and hate at some point. It's like you got to like weave in and out of relationships before it gets too bad. Like, because it's not a matter of like the relationship breaking down. That's going to happen. We just don't know at what point it's going to happen at. But it's going to happen. Or you're going to find out something during the actual relationship that's like, damn, I didn't know that. Let's see. The woman told police that during the confrontation, Smith used a firearm, and she asked police to remove the firearm from that apartment. When police searched for the firearm, they were met with a surprise. While officers were searching for the handgun in the apartment, they observed several stacks of large amounts in various locations. Damn. So she knew that he had all this money in there, probably the same money that was taking care of her and her soon-to-be child that now is most likely born. Well, it has to be, or, you know, she got rid of it in the womb, but she could have had the baby taken care of. I mean, he was there now. If he was strangling her and all that, that's a whole different situation. But while searching through a garbage can, officers found a large amount of payment cards with all different names, along with 2 California driver's licenses also containing different names. Police noted in the affidavit that the licenses were determined to be forged. During the search, investigators also noted 5 cell phones, 5 safes, some of which had more stacks of large amounts of cash in them. Affidavit, they seized all payment cards, $52,000 in loose cash that had just been lying around, and 5 safes and 5 cell phones in one hand. Jesus Christ, bro. All over a domestic assault case that y'all was going to end up not even being, like, you hear it and they say she was strangled and abused and beaten. Possibly, yeah. But to be honest, like, they probably would have not even, if you'd have gave them an hour, she probably never would have even called the police. All of this was probably heated in the moment stuff. You got to remember, this kid's 22. So the woman is probably somewhere around his age. So she's not thinking. She's mad. She's ready to blow everything up in the moment. But had she had some time to think, like, oh, like, I got all the money I need. Like, there's just $52,000 just laying around. It's just around. Like, anytime she want to go, oh, you know what? I want to go call DoorDash and buy the whole restaurant. They can do that. And you just gave the police, like, carte blanche to go around the apartment and find all of your money and take it? Like, this is in your place. Yeah, this is crazy, man. I know she regretting this. While transporting one of the safes, police says the latch opened and they found an additional $146,000 inside. Police later obtained search warrants to search the safes and cell phones, in which they furthered their investigation of nearly $1 million reportedly stolen by Smith. Police said they managed to recover $733,000 during the search. I mean, wow. He didn't even get caught because he made a mistake as far as the crime that he was committing. He got caught because he got into a domestic violence situation. Bruh. And he wasn't even in trouble for that. He was in trouble for the DoorDash stuff. Hey, look, when they found all the stuff that he stole, they didn't even pursue him on a domestic violence charge. They're not even saying he went to jail for that. Or did they? Did they say he got arrested? Nah, they just went over there and investigated it. He didn't even get in trouble for that. All right, let's see. Smith began running a sophisticated phishing scheme that would call DoorDash in order. We just heard about that. I couldn't fall for a scam like this, but I get how it's possible. I mean, I guess maybe we could all. It'd be unlikely that I fall for a scam like this. I guess anybody could be scammed, and we all have. But this is pretty obvious to know if you know what you're doing. If you're totally green, then yeah, this could. And the reason why it could work is because he's the one making the order. So when he calls, he has all the information about the order because he's the one that placed the food. So, oftentimes if somebody just tries to wing it, they're going to be messing up all kind of information or asking you for information they should already know. But because he placed the food order, the time and all that, when he calls in, he can tell them, hey, your order for 18 chicken wings and fries with whatever sauce on the side, like they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is definitely them because they know the order. Only they would know. I guess possibly the restaurant too, but why would the restaurant, be ones that are trying to access your account to rob you? And the crazy thing about it is he didn't even have anything flashy or anything like that. He was more or less just stacking the money. Almost all the money that he had, he didn't even spend it yet. He was just getting started. If this would have continued, he'd have probably had like $5 million. He might not have never been caught if it wasn't for this domestic violence case. And then it got him killed because, well, we don't know all the details, but I'm just saying, like, he had nothing. He had money and power before this, at least. And they caught him lacking. So I want to talk about this last part, where the money's going to go, because this part was interesting to me. So the police have the $733,000 that he defunded from people that were legit, honestly working. But the police are saying this. It's challenging given the number of alleged victims, because the other thing you got to realize is that most people that do gig work like that, they need their money immediately. Like if they make $50 on a day, they're taking that money out right away. Because gig work, and not always, but a lot of those people need that money right away. Like if you're not, like, because a lot of gig workers, they would like to pay you way later. Any job would. They like to pay you like 2 months or monthly. But a lot of the gig work that entices people the most are people that are saying you can get paid same day. We'll pay you within 10 minutes. You can get instant transfer. You can go out and work today and have cash tonight. Right? Rather than most jobs, they're going to pay you bi-weekly or monthly. possibly weekly, but usually not. Bi-weekly is usually the earliest you can get your money. Gig work will allow you to get it right away. If I want to go do Instacart tomorrow and I go do 5 batches at an average of $15 to $25 a batch, I start at 1 o'clock, I can have $150 in my account by 8, 9 o'clock, right? So that's one of the lures when you're doing gig work that pays out instantly. That's one of your perks. So this last part, 700 Dashers have been affected, right? Let's actually break down the math and see. I think it's way more than 700, but even that's a lot. But let's break it down. We're gonna go 1 million, and then we're gonna divide that by 700. That means he was averaging getting $1,400. That seems like, damn, is that really it? Let me see real quick. Let's times it. Times 1,400. I'll do it like this. I'm curious. No, that's right. So he was averaging just over $1,400 per person at $700, which I don't believe most of these. I would go that he probably scammed closer to like 2,000 people, because most people are not going to have $1,400 in their DoorDash account ever. I doubt that their accounts ever got more than like $400 to $500. I don't know exactly how DoorDash pays out, if they pay out weekly. If he's catching people on a Saturday and they've been DoorDashing the whole week, they could definitely have like $600 to $700 in there. But I'm gonna go a lot lower. I'm gonna say on average he's probably getting like $150 to $200 out of their account. So he did way more than 700. That's just what they know. But they're saying this: they can't give the money back because what? Police said Dashers with fake or stolen identities used in order to obtain work made further police outreach more difficult. So they're saying that a lot of these people that are picking up your food and delivering it are not even documented. They're using fake IDs, fake social. You don't know who the hell's controlling your food. And that was one of the things I was going to talk about. Like, honestly, the onboarding process for a lot of these gig jobs is not thorough. Like, you never have to make in-person appearance. You don't got to give your fingerprints up, and you can really just use a fake identity to start a profile and start delivering. So that's one of the issues. The only one that doesn't allow you to do that is probably Amazon Flex. I believe you need to show your ID to Amazon Flex, like in person, to pick up the Amazon products that you're going to deliver. And they're probably the only ones that has that security measure in place that I know of. Yeah, he rejected the plea offer, but it doesn't matter because he's no longer with us. So, yeah, team, that's interesting. And I guess we can look at this a little bit. And it has to do with DoorDash and their background checks. Actually, no, we're going to save this one because there's some other stuff I want to talk to regarding this. So we'll probably come back and visit this if y'all let me know that you want the video. So if you want to learn about the ins and out, I know about the corruption that is food delivery and just delivery gig work in general, and why I would never get my food delivered by any of these companies for the most part. And then also about the background and how you can actually create a DoorDash account using fake information. That's why this is a whole different video. But let's go dark for this team. Undirected perspective. Team, crime doesn't pay. It doesn't pay. I mean, it does in the moment. It doesn't pay in the long run. That's what I'll say. Only way crime will pay in the long run is if you can get out before it gets too long that you're in the crime. So for him, he seems actually, just based off all the money that he had stacked, I don't think he was a fool. But when you're dealing with women and domestics, I mean, you make some of the dumbest, egregious decisions that you could possibly make. And that was one of his downfalls. And it was actually his main downfall and his only one. Because as far as I can tell, he was not going to get caught under any other circumstance. So for him, crime paid, but dealing with a woman in a toxic or volatile relationship is actually what cost him not only his fortune, but his life. So if you are going to do crimes, just make sure that you have an exit plan and don't think that you can do it forever. Get in and get out. Make $1 million and then find a way to launder the money, clean it. That means that your $1 million will probably turn into somewhere around 600,000, but then you have clean money. And then with that 600,000, you can really start to make moves in your life that can improve it. Team, I'm out of here. I'm not going to give y'all any more advice on how to commit crimes. Not in this video, at least.
Goodbye.
I appreciate y'all, team. I'm out of here. How we do? 36 minutes? It's not bad.